Hey, what's up YouTube? This is the Merman Master coming at you guys again from the Team Time Riders Yugioh channel today. And today I have an awesome deck profile for you guys. This deck profile is going to be on a Venom CRITIAS deck, guys. And this deck has been a long time in the work. I actually originally got the idea from someone who posted about this on Reddit as a way to basically make a deck that could accurately get out Vennominaga and still be able to work with that. And the defense mechanism that they had was the CRITIAS monsters. And with the Kaiba Legendary Collection just released, I decided to augment this deck and create something really interesting. And I'm so excited to bring to you the evolution of that strategy that he posted about. So without further ado, guys, let's get into this. And as you see, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Love reading comments, love providing answers for this stuff, and very excited to show you guys what we have here. So, as I mentioned, this is a reptile deck, and it's full on reptiles, and is really helpful in getting out those CRITIAS monsters. So, to start off, guys, we have 3 copies of Reptilianne Scylla. Scylla is one of your main beaters in the deck. It's 1800 attack, and the Reptilianne monsters have a common effect that states that when you activate their ability, you're allowed to just basically get something that has like 0 attack and do something with it. So if this monster attacks and destroys a monster that has 0 attack that your opponent controls, you can take control of that monster kind of like a Yugioh Guardian. So the Reptiliannes are really cool, and there's a lot of cool cards in here that we use to take advantage of their particular abilities. You can run more and more stuff that I'm not running, such as Ghost of a Grudge and other things like that, but, you know, there's even more that you have. So the next card we have in here is 3 Kagetokage. Really great card. Great for rank 4s, especially for going into your big the King of Feral Imps, and you can also use Kagetokage as a way to ramp up into other Link monsters. While it has a restriction against Synchro monsters, the restriction to Links, of course, was not around when this card was released, and therefore you still have the ability to ramp up into whatever you want. You can put whatever Link monsters you want in here. I haven't really prepared the extra deck with them, but of course you guys have that option. The next 3 cards we have in here are 3 copies of Reptilianne Naga. She is the main beast for the Reptilianne deck and combines well. When she's attacked, you get to take the monster that attacked her and make that monster's attack 0. The only problem is when she's attacked, if she's face up in defense position, she eventually has to switch up to face up attack position. So that kind of sucks, but she is still very good and one of the best playmakers you've got in the deck. Next, to search all your Reptiliannes, we have 3 copies of Reptilianne Gardna. One of the first cards to not really miss timing at all. The ad is mandatory, and it is also a 0 attack monster as well to help out some of your better monsters in the deck. But Reptilianne Gardna is an awesome card because it just combines together with the deck to make it good. The issue is that a lot of people have found is that it is a water monster and not a dark monster, but you know that doesn't really come in too big, you know, to bear on this deck. But definitely a good card, and gotta have this card in here at 3. If you've watched my previous Reptilianne deck profiles, you do know, some of the changes that we made on that. Next card we have is 2 copies of Reptilianne Viper. Really great for monsters that already have 0 attack. You can take them and make synchro monsters out of them. Really great when your opponent's got level 4 monsters as well, as you can just steal those away and it doesn't count as a destruction, guys. So the last Reptilianne monster we have in here is 1 copy of the Big Bad Boss. It's Reptilianne Vasky. She was actually around during Dragon Ruler format. A lot of you guys may remember her as the single outing way to get to destroy Dracosac, because she takes 2 level 0 monsters from either side of the field to summon, and then when she special summon, you can target a monster on the field once per turn and destroy that monster. Very cool card, and as you can see, Dracosac, like back in the day, they'd make a Dracosac for defense, special summon the 2 0 attack and defense tokens, so then you could tribute both tokens to summon Vasky with 2600 attack as a special summon, and then pop the Dracosac. So really cool interaction, and props to anyone who figured that out, but she's also a very awesome card to have in your deck. So now that that is the Reptilianne and kind of miscellaneous reptile part, we're now moving into the other monsters. So first we're starting out with 2 copies of Vennominaga, the deity or the king of poisonous snakes. And King of Poisonous Snakes gains 500 attack for every reptile in the graveyard, and you're going to be running through reptiles pretty fast in this deck, so no need to worry about the attack power as much, and he can be special summoned from the deck, which is really good to combine with damage equals reptile, and not to mention that once Venom is destroyed by battle, you can take a reptile and banish it, and then Vennominaga can special summon itself back to the field during the end phase. So very, very good card. And next, of course, we have one of the main bosses in the deck, and that's Vennominaga, the deity of poisonous snakes. One of the biggest boss monsters in the game, and a very, very rare boss monster during the time of GX era, as it had it's unaffected by any card effects, and has the same inherent protections and destruction ability that the Vennominaga had, except for more. And then if this monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent 3 times, for each time it inflicts damage, you get a hyper venom counter on this card, and then when the this card has 3 hyper venom counters on it, you win the duel. I've never actually won using this technique. However, it is one of the more interesting instant win conditions, and really, really cool for a GX monster of the time, especially for a minor character like the Thelonious Viper, who used the Venom monsters to great extent in his duel against the GX characters. So now the last monster in the deck, of course, we've got is 1 copy of Evil Dragon Ananta. A manga exclusive card, but a really, really good one. When you got a lot of reptiles in grave, and when you've, exhausted your other guys, this is another boss monster, maybe akin to like a Hamon and Crystal Beasts. And just very, very awesome. Gain 700 for every reptile monster you banished, and then once per turn during the end phase is a mandatory destruction during each of your end phases. So that can be very, very good. Sometimes it'll have to pop itself, but other than that, Evil Dragon Ananta can put on some big damage, especially in the late game. So that's going to round out the monsters. Moving on to the spells and traps. So the first thing, we're starting out with 2 copies of Viper's Rebirth. Viper's Rebirth lets you revive a reptile monster from your graveyard, but it is destroyed during the end phase. Most of the time you'll be able to use things with the reptile monsters, so that doesn't become that big of an issue. And Viper's Rebirth also combines very, very well with your Venominogs, because you can revive your Venominon, and when it's destroyed during the end phase, you can activate Rise of the Snake Deity, which requires a monster to be destroyed by card effect, pop your Venominon on the field, and then that will allow you to special summon Vennominaga from your hand or deck. So very, very good card, and that pop effect is actually very useful, despite what you may think. Next card we have is one of the most powerful reptile support cards in the entire game, and if for any other archetype would be insanely busted. That is Snake Rain. Snake Rain allows you to discard a card and send any 4 reptiles you want to the graveyard, instantly helping you to boost up the power of a Venominon, a Vennominaga, get enough materials for Evil Dragon Ananta, have some materials for Viper's Rebirth. It just sets up so many plays in this deck, and you absolutely have to have this in here. 2 is a good number. 3 would be absolutely pushing it, as it is, in the beginning, a -2 for certain types of reptile decks. That's the reason why reptile decks aren't really run, is because there are no real strategies that can take good use of that. But I assure you guys, once there are, this card is headed fast for the ban list. So that is Snake Rain. Next card we have, of course, guys, is 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial for the same reason. Get your reptiles to the graveyard so that they can be used for more stuff. Next, we have Burial for a different dimension. When you're going to be banishing a lot of your reptiles, and this will just help you to get them back. Hopefully this card will come back to more than 1, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And next, we have 1 copy of Soul Charge, and you can convince. This is just a really good card for helping you to swarm the field and get Synchro and XYZ plays and things like that off. But you can feel free to do anything that you want. Soul Charge is also very, very good for just helping out to get Venominons, triggering your opponent's torrential tributes, and getting more of your plays off. So that is something that definitely is Very, very good. One of the things I was thinking about doing is, actually when the structure deck comes out, tossing a couple of Liliths in here and then using that ability of Lilith to set a trap card to be able to, grab your Snake Deity cards from your deck, set them instantly there, and then be able to use them on your opponent's turn to help out in getting Vennominaga out. Now, we have the final 2 spells in the deck, guys. That is the 2 copies of Fang of CRITIAS. You guys saw the Destruction Dragons earlier, and Fang of CRITIAS provides extra boss monsters and extra defense for your guys. Very, very cool card. Really, really awesome. And I will explain more about that, but basically it combines together with trap cards that you have to create awesome new monsters. So, that is it for the spells. Moving on to the trap cards, guys. So first starting off, needs no explanation. We have 3 offering to the Snake Deity. Pretty much the Icarus attack for reptiles. And just an amazing card, amazing disruption. And reptiles don't really have any of that kind of built-in stuff. And, you're going to be losing life points very, very fast in this deck. So having a little bit of removal in the form of offering the Snake Deity is a well-activated, well-timed, thing. So that's offering to the Snake Deity, and it also helps you trigger your Rise of the Snake Deity. So now we have Rise of the Snake Deity, guys, in here at 2. When a Venom is destroyed by a card effect, you can activate this ability, special summon Vennominaga, the deity of poisonous snakes, from your hand or your deck. Unfortunately, if Vennominaga goes to the graveyard, you can't really get it back, but Rise of the Snake Deity is nevertheless the only way to get the card out, so you gotta run the card in here at 2. Getting the activation requirements is a little bit like playing with yourself, in terms of, like, not in that kind of gutterish way, but just working your deck around getting that card out. And one of the cards that helps you to do that, of course, is 1 copy of Damage Equals Reptile. Very, very awesome card. Yeah, pretty much that's all there is to it. Damage Equals Reptile allows you to special summon a reptile equal to the damage you took from your deck, and that's especially good when combined with Venom because he can be special summoned when you take any damage. So very, very cool card. And really, really love the card, but it's only good in here as 1. Next card we have is that 1 Crush Card Virus. Of course, we'll wait for that to come back to more numbers. But Crush Card is a very, very necessary evil in here. You can use it with any one of your monsters. As I mentioned, it doesn't really play too nicely with Gardna, but it does play nicely with Reptilianne Naga to help destroy your opponent's stuff and get more stuff. But even better combined with the Fang of CRITIAS to help you get the Crush Card Virus's original non-errata effect. Next card we are having in the deck is going to be 1 copy of Limit Reverse. This is another card that helps you get off your Vennominaga plays, and it's kind of like, for a lot of people, a worse Call of the Haunted, but you can special summon your Vennominaga, and if its battle position is changed to defense position, from attack positions as a special summon, it's automatically destroyed. That counts as a destruction for card effect and allows you to trigger your back row trap, the Rise of the Snake Deity. So Limit Reverse is actually very, very useful and an awesome card in this deck. Torrential Tribute needs no explanation. Pop the whole field, activate the Snake Deity, get your big boy out. And then finally, the last couple of traps. We have 2 copies of Mirror Force. Combine this really, really good protection, but combine it together with your Fang of CRITIAS and make a Mirror Force Dragon. And then the final card in the deck is a brand new card, and Konami has indicated that this card will help you detonate your chances against your opponent in the long run. And that is 1 copy of Loop of Destruction. And this is a continuous trap card that counts as Ring of Destruction on the field, but it allows you to basically, if a monster is destroyed during the damage step, you can destroy 1 monster on the field and then inflict 500 points of damage to you and your opponent for each, for that monster getting destroyed. So it's kind of like a long-term solution, and it protects yourself against your opponent, and it's a lot more useful than Ring of Destruction, where sometimes your opponent may force you to activate that. Of course, the card is still at 1, but Loop of Destruction really gets around that. So that's going to round out the main deck, guys. Now moving on to the extra deck. You can run, of course, anything you want, but I just picked out a few cool cards that I liked. And starting things out, of course, guys, we have 1 copy of the Destruction Dragon. Brand new for the Legendary Collection Kaiba. Very, very cool if you can get your hands on this. This card has the original effect of Ring of Destruction. And that's the common thing of all of the CRITIAS dragons is, all of their respective trap cards pretty much were errataed. So this has the original effect, except it has a little bonus, and that is that when you destroy the monster, it's kind of like a Volcasaurus. You can target the monster, destroy that monster, and then your opponent takes the damage. So pretty much, very, very good card, and still something incredibly useful. Not that high attack power, of course, guys, but a still high defense power, and can really, really help you out in the long run. It can destroy any card and not just monsters, by the way. So that is also another nice bonus. Next 2 cards we have in here are 2 copies of Mirror Force Dragon. Very, very cool cards. I have 1 from the Legendary Collection and 1 from the original set. And, you can see a little bit of the change in wording. They errated the stuff slightly, so I guess for all intents and purposes, pay attention to the new errata on that. And just basically, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls when a monster attacks instead of all monsters. So very, very awesome card. And prevents your opponent from attacking some of your reptiles, especially like your Nagas and stuff like that, as they don't want their stuff to be destroyed. Next card we have in here is the Doom Virus Dragon. The Doom Virus Dragon is kind of like the Crush card. It's got Crush Card Virus's original effect, and just basically allows you to destroy all cards like with a higher than 1500 attack power. When you can get Doom Virus Dragon out, that is a good day. And looking forward to having Crush Card Virus back at 3 or so. I don't know whether or not it came back on the most recent list, but looking forward to having Crush Card Virus back so that Doom Virus Dragon actually becomes a more viable play in this deck. And the last 2 cards that we're running, and of course you can run, your Underclock Takers and your Firewalls and your other links, and Borreload, Saryuja, and Proxy Dragon, you name it. King of the Pharolymphs, rank 4s, whatever. We have 2 copies of Reptilianne Hydra, the in-theme synchro monster for the Reptilianne archetype. Just requires 1 Reptilianne tuner and then 1 or more non-tuner monsters. So you use the Reptilianne Viper to kind of go for this guy. And it just is very, very awesome, because Viper plus any level 4 will automatically equal the Reptilianne Hydra. And when it's on the field and you have an opponent's monster that has 0 attack, Hydra kicks in and can destroy any face-up monster on your opponent's side of the field that have 0 attack, and you can draw a card for each monster destroyed. So there's like tons of ways to do this. You guys can build like final attack orders and other things like that to force you to force your opponent to attack into your monsters. Get them right to the battle phase with the Grand Horns of Heaven. Play Ghost of a Grudge to make all the monsters on your opponent's side of the field have 0 attack. You name it, you can do that. Summon Reptilianne Hydra, destroy them all, draw like 6 cards. There's so many options in this deck, guys, for ways to run it. And reptiles are definitely an archetype that you guys should be playing around with. But with that, I just want to bring this deck profile to a conclusion and say I've been having a lot of fun with this, and I think it's just an awesome kind of strategy for anyone who's interested in playing some kind of reptile-based strategy and actually being able to do well with it. You won't take any regionals, you won't take any YCSs, and it's definitely been power creep to some extent. But I think that, good deck building combined with a solid strategy and an ability to cover all of your bases, kind of like the CRITIAS do, covering the weaknesses of the Reptilianne monsters, and you might have a winning strategy that could take down your next locals. So with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been the Mermail Master with the Team Time Riders YouTube channel. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you'll stick around and stay for more. Thank you so much, and with that, guys, have a good night. Peace.